Alright, what's going on, dudes, and welcome to Minecraft for the Xbox 360. Well, this is new and exciting. As I'm sure you're aware, after quite a bit of anticipation, this just dropped today on the Xbox Live Arcade Marketplace thingamadoohickey, whatever you want to call it. It costs $20, or 1,600 Microsoft points would be the official currency for purchasing it. And I wanted to run through and sort of give my first impressions on it. So I wanted to start off by saying that I think it is a very cool step that the game is now on Xbox. There are lots of people, obviously, who play games solely or primarily on Xbox, or I know PlayStation as well, but obviously Mojang sort of struck up a deal with Microsoft, so at least for now, it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. I don't know if it'll ever go over to PlayStation or Wii, so we could have motion-controlled Minecraft. That would be really cool, actually, to think about that, or connect Minecraft, like you punch the air and you break blocks and stuff. That's kind of cool. I don't know how well it would work, but that would be sort of a fun part of the game, which actually is sort of the points that I can see as far as purchasing this for Xbox is sort of having it for co-op if you have some friends over. But anyway, I'll get to that later. I'm sure you're interested in more so hearing about how it runs and sort of the technical details and whatever I sort of gathered from playing it for about 30 minutes to an hour at this point. So to start off, there is a tutorial. It is much more of a polished sort of game on the Xbox. It was actually, to my knowledge, sort of recoded from the ground up by 4J Studios, I think is the group who redid it. So I think it was transferred from either Java to, it was C++ or C# or some variation of C that is compatible with the Xbox. So that's, to my knowledge, it was redone in its entirety, and so a bunch of new, more widely bunch of new features that are there to appeal to a wider audience and make the game easier to pick up and play have been implemented. So tutorial is what I started off by looking at, and it explains pretty much all of the game's basic mechanics to you. The crafting system has been entirely overhauled, so if you've ever played Terraria, it works more like Terraria's crafting system, and that's when you collect your resources, you go into your workbench, or there's obviously your standard 2x2 crafting grid, or I'll air quote the 2x2 crafting grid because it looks pretty different. It just basically, when you don't have a workbench and you go into your crafting section, you are just unable to build some of the items that you do need the crafting table for. So the items that traditionally require the 3x3 space. So once you've gotten your items, you go into your crafting grid on your workbench preferably, and basically you can just go through and select whatever item you want to build, and it'll tell you if you have the resources available to do that, or if you need to go collect some more, and it shows you the recipe, and then you can simply click that item and it insta-creates it for you, basically like Terraria. So you don't have to go through and remember how to arrange your resources in whatever specific shape for the item that you want to craft, and it makes it much more of an easier game to pick up. Whereas obviously Minecraft on the PC, you have to look on the wiki. There's no in-game tutorial to tell you how things are done. It's sort of all, it's left up to you to figure out how to play the game. And to be quite honest, that is part of the beauty of PC Minecraft up until this point, is that the game, it is a little bit rough around the edges, but that's part of its appeal. So it sounds super silly to say, but the fact that the game is far more polished makes me look at it a bit differently. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It's sort of indifferent, but I do think that it allows it to appeal to a much wider range of an audience, where they want to just be able to pick it up and play it immediately and sort of know what's going on, and not have to do a Google search, have their computer right next to their Xbox, and sort of figure out on two separate devices how to go about playing the game. So it is a very smart move on the part of 4J Studios. I'm sure they were sort of speaking back and forth, communicating with Mojang on these things, and I think it was a good idea, actually, to add this, because I think it'll make people much more instantly involved in the game. So anyway, tutorial, overhauled crafting interface, and to be quite honest, the way the game actually runs using the thumbsticks and buttons as opposed to mouse and keyboard, it is very good. Actually, it only takes a couple seconds to get used to. You have to dial up your sensitivity a little bit. It starts out a tad bit slow, but after you do that, you can walk around and do things just fine. So you might want to, I didn't do this, but Mark, who I was playing with, told me that the other button mapping layouts, there are 3 to choose from. The second one is sort of if you're used to bumper jumper in Halo, you can basically change it so your jump key is either on your left trigger or right trigger. I forget what it is, but it allows you to, say, fight and jump at the same time. You can, because you have to basically use your thumb to do multiple things at once, you can't look and jump at the same time on the default layout. So being able to change to sort of a bumper jumper kind of thing is very nice, and that's something I'd probably switch to in the future. So now, as far as how the game runs, it runs very, very well. Now, to my knowledge, there's actually a world size limit, so you can't actually just go on forever. There's no far lands. You can't walk 1,000,000 meters out and have a world that takes up gigabytes of space. To my knowledge, when you start a world, it is a predefined size, and apparently there will be invisible walls somewhere in the ocean. That's what I have heard. I have not walked out to the edge of the world yet, but that is my guess as to what happens, because obviously the Xbox cannot handle going and having you walk out just an obscene distance. It would run out of RAM pretty quickly, and it would probably just overdo the capacity of how big a save file can be. But yeah. Anyway, it runs very smoothly. I think they also added MIP mapping, and what that does is it reduces the resolution of textures as they are farther away from you. So you may notice how when you're looking at, say, a brick wall on PC Minecraft, unless you have Optifine or a mod that does something similar, it'll sort of have these weird wavy, swirly patterns that will morph as you go closer and farther away from the wall. And so MIP mapping basically takes care of that, and no longer do you get those strange sort of artifact swirly looking graphics when you're at a certain distance from your brick wall or whatever it may be. And it causes that because there's no anti-aliasing either. So there is no anti-aliasing in the Xbox Minecraft. I should state that, because that would really change the look and feel. Obviously they could have added that if they wanted to, but that would be far too much of a drastic change, I would think. So that's why it's not there. But the MIP mapping is very nice, and it makes it look, again, a little bit more polished. So on top of that, well, now I can go ahead and discuss some multiplayer and how that runs as well. So multiplayer is very easy. You just set up the worlds are both single player and multiplayer, so you can set up a world, and it allows you to invite friends just as you're playing it. So I went ahead and set one up. I actually put in the Seed Gargamel because I wanted to see if seeds work the same on the 360 as they do on PC. And I'm pretty sure, unless it was like a toned down version of the Gargamel seed, it looked very familiar. So you start out in that sort of big canyon area. And so I was pleasantly surprised at that. I was hoping that the seeds would work the same. Now, I should take a second to mention, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but Xbox Minecraft is based off of, it's either beta version 1.6 or 1.7, reason being that is around the time when 4J Studios started porting the code over. So they just stuck to that version, and they built upon it. So unfortunately, no underground caverns or dungeons or strongholds. Well, dungeons obviously, but no strongholds, no ender portal, no ender dragon. Maybe that'll be released eventually, because they do have a slot for downloadable content. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that they keep the the free add-on model to the downloadable content section. I'm really hoping they don't charge extra for, say, the ender dragon or whatever additional features they may add to build upon and have it catch up to the PC version. So we'll see. I'm really hoping they keep they keep everything free like the PC version, and sort of stay true to that value as to to how they've been going with the PC version the entire time it's been going now. So, but we'll see. I mean, ultimately, it's probably Microsoft's sort of decision because they have the deal worked out with them. So, only time will tell. Anyway, so it's 1.6. You don't have all the features from the Adventure update and everything added since then. But even so, it is enough, I think, because as I was alluding to earlier, I think that the main appeal to buying Minecraft on your Xbox is if you want to have friends over and you want to be able to play with people that are in the same room as you. Because obviously on PC, unless you have a couple computers set up next to each other, it's up to like 4 computers, it's gonna be difficult to sort of play with your friends. And even then you have to be set up at different workstations, maybe in different rooms of your house, even if you do have multiple computers. So just in a sort of friendly everyday setting, having just 4 controllers and being able to sit on a couch is a much more appealing way to play the game with friends than having several computers set up in your house all over the place. And even so, not everyone has multiple computers in their house. So this is pretty cool, and that's part of the family-friendly nature of game consoles. So I think that if you have been sort of a long-time Minecraft PC player, that would be the main reason to get it on Xbox, because you're not going to have all the features that you have on PC that you used to. So unless you do want to play with your friends in person, I don't know, maybe you just want to experience it, but it's not going to really add too much to your experience unless you're trying to learn how to play the game and all the crafting recipes and the like. So, but however, for people who've never played it before and perhaps hadn't even heard of it because they are primarily Xbox game players as opposed to playing on PC, it's awesome because it totally opens up the game to being available for them. And I think that's the main reason. So I don't know if I see, well, I'm totally making assumptions here. I think that probably a lot of people who do play the PC version will pick it up for Xbox just to see what it's like and have it available for when they do have friends over and want to just give it a go. So anyway, I think that's about it for my first impressions of the game. I think it is extremely well done. It runs super well, and that is sort of the main thing that I was looking for. One more thing to mention is the fact that the multiplayer sort of lag that is pretty common to experience on playing on PC is not very prevalent at all, in that when you hit a mob when you're playing with a friend, it works pretty well. You don't have you don't have the fear of having, say, a zombie hit you when you thought you swung your sword at him when he was super far away from you. So also the fact that the friends that are in the game with you, their character movements are super fluid as opposed to sort of jumpy here and there, which you see on PC, obviously, and the animals in the game, they're all very fluidly moving as well. So yeah, and that's probably because it's a P2P connection as opposed to something over a server. So anyway, that's about it. I don't think I missed anything too important that I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to recount everything in my mind. I guess if I did miss anything, I can simply go over it in another video soon enough. But anyway, that's about going to do it. So thank you very much for watching. Again, if you want to pick it up and give it a try, it is on Xbox for 1,600 Microsoft points or $20. And it is a jolly good time. And hopefully lots of new people will pick up the game and discover the awesomeness that is Minecraft. So that's about going to do it. Thanks for watching, guys. And I will see you later.